Have you ever heard the phrase, "I can tell that was written by AI"? And there is some truth to that. I was never really impressed with how AI was written. In fact, when I use ChatGPT to write something, I add the prompt, "Don't make it sound like AI at all." Emails nowadays are just disgustingly annoying with it. I love how they start their emails by saying, "We love your video on Humanize.io. We have this person that can talk to you about heart valves for your show." Heart valves. When you get into a website that uses AI to create content, if you read a book where AI content is present, if you read a paper that a student wrote and you think, "Gosh, this is completely AI. How are they learning anything?" It makes us wonder, are we going to be stuck in an AI slop writing revolution for the rest of our lives? And I get it, in my day it was scientific calculators, couldn't have those in the classroom, that would be cheating. Before that, maybe regular calculators. After that, it was cell phones. And even before all of those, I suppose, protractors? We're always trying to find something that makes our lives easier, but the fear is we stop learning and let the robots take over. Not knowing your brother's phone number or memorizing a paper map before you head out on a big trip. Even learned subjects like cursive have been deemed not important because we don't write anymore. But back to the AI part, if we live in a world where everything feels AI written, are we going to become numb when something original comes out? It's not going away. AI will always lead to AI 2.0, which will then lead to 3.0, 4.0, whatever in the future. But for now, we need a way to use AI and make it right. And that's where Humanize.io might come in. Welcome to Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in Geek. Now, I will be talking about Humanize.io, and they are sponsoring this video. They do have editorial option, but all opinions are that of Geekazine, and we will give you an honest look at this software. So what is Humanize.io? It's simply a tool that helps take the AI out of AI writing. We're going to be taking a deep dive into writing articles and bringing Humanize into play. We will be looking at AI detector software, what they detect, and how this software as a service can help you finish a piece without having someone say,
"That sounds like AI."
I will start with this. In the last couple of years, since ChatGPT came out, I feel better in my writing. The reason why is because I always got stuck in starting an article, trying to think of where I was going to go. I didn't want to be too formulaic, and I just saw a blank piece of paper and froze. But my writing plan nowadays basically brings AI into play for the mind-numbing tasks, like, for instance, writing a blog post. I do have to say that what I'm conveying to you right now is all 100% written. Jeff created, but I won't say that it's not 100% original. My workflow includes AI to edit, correct, and suggest changes in what I say. If I make a script for a video, such as this one, that is usually, we'll say, 95% concocted by myself. I'll open up a Google document and then I'll hit the mic button and then I'll talk into it, of course, creating the transcription. Or I'll just talk into my microphone and then use third-party software to transcribe it. I'll then verify the LLM was correct with everything, because every now and then AI doesn't know what Geekazine is. I don't understand it. The whole idea is that text that I spoke into is going to be put into AI to clean it up, to create titles and to create content from there so I can create the blog post. So it's pretty much original with an AI editor. A simple prompt of take this text and turn it into a blog post with sections and make it sound like, this is where I reference another writing style. And sometimes I'll say, make it sound like it wasn't written by AI. I wrote the script to begin with, but I let AI write the post. So is that AI written, or is that my original content? The answer might be that the system detects it. And the answer could be if a system detects it as AI. So then what is AI written? How does the software determine that? I asked Google that question and it came back with this. And keep in mind, this part is AI written. AI content detectors analyze written text to determine the likelihood that it was generated by an AI model versus a human. These tools are built using a combination of machine learning models and natural language processing techniques. Here's how AI detection software works. training and pattern recognition, finding linguistic patterns that distinguish AI, having key features for analysis, basically tools analyzing text for features like sentence structure, repetition, with lower perplexity suggesting AI. Classification and scoring. Based on the analysis, a score is assigned indicating the probability that the text was AI generated, which is an estimate rather than a definitive statement. And that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if someone could just write every single article like they were an AI bot. I would also not be surprised if somebody is out there trying to learn how to do this so they can talk to people, lectures, and being an expert on this subject. Nonetheless, there are programs out there that you can go to and find out if your articles do sound like AI. Keep in mind, you might have written your article with no AI involved. So this becomes a great help in making sure your original content does not get flagged as such. Programs like GPT-0, CopyLeaks, Brandwell, Writer, and others are sites that actually analyze this text. They collect data and go over the trends and make determinations. If you think of it like antivirus software, every day there's new research that comes out to see if trends change or if new viruses come out and how they can counter them. Old viruses get morphed into new viruses. It's a constant battle back and forth. So we have a powerful step for a piece of software like Humanize.ai because they work with these sites to give you a one-stop shop to check all your content. So with that said, what we're going to do is we're going to turn to Humanize.io. We're going to see how you put in your content. It's going to do the checks. And then, of course, it's going to rewrite the content. We're also going to look to see the factual information. If it changes numbers or information that's very important to the article. And then, of course, finally, make a decision whether Humanize.io is a way to help you humanize your writings. So let's get into the webpage. Here, this is the Humanize.io website, surefire way to humanize AI text and bypass the detectors. So this is what you have. You can try a sample, of course, or you can paste text in here. And basically what happens is it pastes on this side, and you can then check to see if it's AI. You can check it with 7 different sources to see if what they think, if it's AI or not, using their methods to figure it out. And then if it passes the tests, you could go ahead and continue whatever you had here as AI generated content will be then flagged as AI generated content. It's a evolving struggle back and forth, and this is a great reference to help you figure it out. Over here we have all our information on our words remaining. I basically asked ChatGPT, can you summarize the one big beautiful bill as in regards to technology and where it's going to go? So here we go. We've got the one big beautiful bill, text and industry tsunami. We did the test on it. AI generated it came back in the red, as you can see. We got GPT-0, CopyLeaks, Winston, and Zero GPT, all online detectors. These are part of the 7 that Humanize uses. So we put in the one big beautiful bill here. It only scans about 5,000 characters of text, but all are seeing them as AI generated. This one, probability 100%. From here, Winston has shown us, 1% human written. And if you see, as you scroll down, look at all that text right there that it feels like that is. We got over here on the CopyLeaks.com. They're saying it's matching at about 100% itself. The scan in CopyLeaks is showing us, it's definitely showing us AI content. If we go right here, we're going to see 100% AI content, but it does do a match text of the document. See the matches over through a more deeper dive through the pay plan, and you can see a lot of red and orange there. Zero GPT, now it says 92.48%, and I think this actually got the whole thing. There's like one paragraph, I think, that it didn't think that it was AI generated. So as you can see, it's across the board showing us that it is AI. So let's go ahead and hit Humanize. All right, we're in the green, which is great. So let's take a look at the first paragraph. On the left side, the recently signed one big beautiful bill, OBBB is poised to send ripple effects across various sectors of the US economy, and the tech industry is certainly not immune. As opposed to the One Big Beautiful Bill, OBBB, signed today will have waves of impact across most segments of the US economy, and the tech industry is no exception. So those are the two opening paragraphs for both of these. And then, of course, it said that it cleared the test here on human written, but we'll double check that. Let's take a look at a couple of the services to see how they look. GPT-0, One Big Beautiful Bill, is saying that it's about 75 to 80% human. It is definitely passed in this, and it highlights what the AI area might be. And if you want to change it, you can always copy this, put that back into Humanize, and have it create a different option to try and get this down to 0. We're into Winston. It is telling us that we have a 91% human score, and then of course the readability score for what I wrote. So this is a really decent answer. From here, it says that it's match text 0.9 out of here, but it says that it's 99 almost 100% human text. It says AI content 100% human text. Match text is 99.1%. So it found a couple lines in my document that it feels like it's AI, but this is such a small amount. This has definitely passed on the tests. We have all the stuff that we did before, just like with a ChatGPT. So it remembers some of the stuff. When we can bring that in, and when we check for the AI, it goes to these 7 different sites, and they all say, hey, it's AI generated. And in fact, I actually did take this to GPT-0, and it gave me a more in-depth analysis of that. In fact, we'll do that right now. So I'll paste in the text here, and then we'll scan it. And then of course it's going to go through robot verification on human. Yes, there we are. And it's verifying success. Now it's going to go through this, and it's going to tell me the probability breakdown of it being AI. We only see a little bit because, of course, we've got to sign in and get more information. But they've detected some common AI vocabulary in the text. They see some AI sentences. You can go through all 7 of those and see the same thing. So what we did was we then humanized it, and the end result is this. So I'll go from the left to the right, and we'll go. Steve Jobs played a critical role in transforming Apple from a struggling computer manufacturer in the mid-1990s to one of the most successful electronic companies in the world. After being ousted from the company he co-founded in 1985, Jobs returned to Apple in 1997, where the company acquired Next. And we'll keep it there. So this is what the Humanize did here. So Steve Jobs was instrumental in developing Apple from a niche computer company in the mid-90s to the world's largest firm. Went on to say Jobs returned to Apple in 97 after he was ousted by the company he founded in 1995 when it was purchased by Apple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this new text, copy it all, and then I'm going to go over to GPT-0. And we'll paste it in here. We got 3 paragraphs, and I think this gives you only so many characters on their free model over at GPT-0. But let's go ahead and scan this, and let's see what it finds with the changes. Now it comes back and it says, we are uncertain about the document. If we had to classify it, it would be considered AI generated. That's on the fence. We've got that information right there. It looks that's where we're coming from, but from what they're saying here, they've checked it with GPT-0, with CopyLeaks, with Zero GPT, Writer, Brandwell, and they said that it's human written. Let's do Zero GPT. One of the other ones that they went against, we'll paste it in, all the paragraphs pasted in. That's great. So let's go ahead, and this is the corrected text, by the way. So we'll go ahead and detect the text. And it's saying mixed signals, so about a 69%. So that's where we are right here. But if we're just going here, it's telling us that it's passed because it was questionable. So I'm guessing in Humanize eyes, that questionable is passed. Let's go through some of the other scripts that I went through. The other day, Samsung had their big event, which they announced their Z Fold 7. So I went on and I basically created a script. I wrote the script and then I talked the script out and then I made the video. And then the video I put into an AI transcription software in which that created a text. And I told ChatGPT to create a blog post for me. This is how I work things out, because then I'll go back, I'll copy and paste that blog post into my website, but then I'll go and I'll read through it and I'll make lots of changes. This is what I pulled straight from ChatGPT, and it came back and it says the input content seems to be AI generated, and all of them came back saying AI generated. But what's interesting is when I went to humanize it, they came back and they said that it could be AI generated. Now, if we look at this, basically my structure is I put in a specific prompt into ChatGPT to say, I want you to make this blog post like this way. And at the top, you put in the title and then you put in my YouTube link. I have it put in all the affiliate links and everything like that. So there's a full structure here. And it's saying that this is AI generated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of this and I'm going to go back to 0GPT. Now I'm just going to take the text that Humanize just corrected and I'm going to put it in here. And then of course, we're going to detect that text. And there we go. Now look at that. Now it says that your text is human written. So that's interesting. Now that's the Humanize version. So what we're going to do, I'm going to close this out. I'm going to go back in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this part of the text and see what 0GPT does for that. Now this is interesting. It says your text is most likely AI GPT generated, which is true because I took my text and I had to make a blog post out of it. I didn't make any changes from this text. I just basically copied it from ChatGPT and put it into Humanize and of course 0GPT. So as you can see, it is most likely AI GPT generated, just like with what Humanize said. And then what was interesting is even though 0GPT said that this is human created, the AI generator output from here basically said no. Yeah, we'll replay it. There we go. And so now it's going through and figuring out the terms and the paragraphs and the commonalities and kind of getting rid of that. So hopefully we'll have a better result. It still says that it's AI generated, but let's take a look at what we've got here. So first of all, let's go from the paragraphs on the left side. Samsung Unpacked 2025 was a bold declaration of where mobile tech is headed, where AI hardware and premium design all fold into one sleek package. That's a long sentence. So what Humanize did was this. Samsung's Unpacked, first of all, they said Samsung's instead of Samsung. Samsung's Unpacked was a bravado statement of where mobile tech is going, where AI hardware and premium design all coalesce into the sleekest of packages. Still a long sentence, but it is a lot different. And I'm a little bit concerned about that. It's Samsung Unpacked is the actual event. So there was a little bit of a grammatical error right there. But it thinks that this is still AI generated, even though we went to one of the sites that's actually supposed to be confirming this and said that no, this is human written. So that's pretty interesting. Let's move to something else here. Here's another one. This was just that same Samsung Unpacked, where I wanted to basically create a YouTube description as opposed to the blog post. Now, I think this might be too short for it to really do any type of detection, because it came back and said, hey, this is human written. You're good to go. But we'll just double check really quick, because it was this morning that I did this. And yeah, human written. We'll still go ahead and hit the Humanize button, and we'll go through the process right here. Now that's interesting. It says Sapling says that it's human written, but everywhere else, except for Brandwell, is basically saying this is AI generated. So that was pretty interesting. I don't know if I can I can definitely retry it. So we'll go ahead and have it rewrite it again. And now we're all AI generated. Now let's go to 0 and see if that's actually the case. And we'll hit the detect text. Oh, and it says it's human written. So that's a false positive right there on there. So that's interesting, and might be some tweaking that needs to be happening to Humanize.io, but you can always go to these other services and make sure that it is actually what they say. So let's take a look at the first paragraph. Samsung Unpacked 2025 just wrapped, and we got the full breakdown from the ultra powerful Galaxy Z Fold 7 with 200 megapixel camera and integrated Google Gemini AI to the sleek and compact Z Flip 7 with a bigger flex window and full app access. And then this paragraph is Samsung Unpacked 2025 is a wrap, and we have all the details. The ultra-powerful Galaxy Z Fold 7 with a 200 megapixel camera and integrated Google Gemini AI, the sleek and compact Z Flip 7, and a larger flex window, and with a larger flex window and full app access. So it rewrites it, and even though that it feels that the output is AI generated, we confirmed it from one of the sources that's saying no, that it's yes. One thing I forgot to mention is that the Big Beautiful Bill article that I wrote or had written was through Gemini. And the the Steve Jobs history was written through ChatGPT. And in the ChatGPT prompt, I said, make it sound like it was written by AI. I didn't do that with Gemini. And I did do another article in ChatGPT that I didn't say make it sound like AI, but when I put it through Humanize.io, it passed with flying colors. And I even did the rewrite and it passed with flying colors. I then took it into 0GPT and it passed with flying colors. So there are going to be situations where that AI article will just smooth sail through everything. So for the most part, this is what you get. You don't get any other real screens except to look at your billing or whatever. You have the text that you want to put in, you have the text that gets humanized, and then you have the history of texts that you can refer to bring in and maybe rehumanize it, change things. This is what I found with Humanize.io. There's going to be false positives. There's going to be times that you'll put in text and say, hey, that's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. It's checking between 7 different sources. And the interesting thing about that is, even though it's checking on those 7 sources, when I went to one of those sources to actually check it again, it gave me a conflicting answer. That was pretty interesting. So the Humanize, of course, we're seeing the difference in the Humanize text as opposed to the regular text. I don't think it's changing any facts or figures, which is great. You don't want it to go 96% of something is blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden Humanize changes it to 82%. So it keeps the facts and figures together. That's very important. I didn't see any glaring errors when it switched over to Humanize, and it's just changing words. It's changing phrases like, this is an unbelievable offer, which is one of those things that I see on AI or something like that. It just makes an outlandish statement, and then that takes that statement out of there and kind of mellows it down. But it is interesting to see those false positives that are happening in here. The one thing I do like is it does check with those 7 different sources, even though it is getting a false positive. Maybe a small tweak down the line that'll fix it or whatever. But you can go in, get it all set up, and then hold on and let it just sit there, and then come back a few days later and have it check again to see if anything has changed. In a little bit of research in doing this video, I have looked at and basically asked the question, is this type of service a viable one? Is it something that, they're pulling things out of the air instead of just, giving you facts and figures? There are people saying that, this is all hokum. This is voodoo, whatever. As I look at the 2 side-by-side comparisons, what I think is AI and what I don't think is AI, is the reality that the Humanize side, I don't think is AI. So don't let it thwart you if you've got a false positive. And once again, you can always pull some of that text out, go to one of those 7 sources to their actual website, and then put that text in to see what it says, why it might say it as original or as AI. But for the most part, if you feel that it's very comfortable, those texts you can use, because there's always going to be a lot of questions. You'll never know if somebody is going to write text that sounds like it's AI written. You never know when AI is going to put out the perfect script. It's a game of chance in all reality. So this is a good tool to help you if you've got a paper, if you've got an article, if you got something that you really want to have polished. And even if you wrote it yourself, this might be a good way to have it edited and make it sound a little bit more humane. What's missing from Humanize.io is kind of feelings and direction. Like, for instance, if I write in ChatGPT, I say, write me an article like one of the big companies that write articles all the time would write about. And that's the type of thing I could. Or I say, hey, make it more humorous, or make it, make it more serious. Put it towards 5th grade education as opposed to a college education. All of those factors go into creating the text for the AI generated through GPT and Gemini. Through Humanize, it doesn't have that direction. All it has is the text that it sees in front of it, and it says, that's AI, that's AI, that's AI. We're going to change those things. So that would be one thing that I would like to see in Humanize, is to kind of have a direction. Say, hey, keep the quirkiness, but change the text. We've got some specific jokes in there. I want to see those jokes. I don't want to see them get mangled. For the most part, for the few prompts that you saw me put in and the many prompts that I put in before that, I saw a very good success rate in there. And sometimes I put in text and it said, hey, that's not AI written. And you can still humanize it from there, just to make absolutely sure. But what do you think? Have you used Humanize.io? Let me know in the notes below over at Geekazine.com or YouTube.com/Geekazine, where you can like, subscribe, comment, and of course, hit the bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Don't forget to check out the t-shirt line over at Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. There's a merch section, and of course, over at Teespring, you can check that out from there. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, you guys, geek out and AI on.